What's up, everyone, and welcome to the show. Today's episode is all centered on an initiative that is designed to strengthen the black community. I give credit to this initiative to American attorney, political commentator, and former director of the Congressional Black Caucus, Ms. Angela Rye. Now, for a very long time, we've all said to each other, and still to this day say to one another, stay woke. Stay woke, my brother, stay woke, my sister. But what does that even mean? It really doesn't mean anything if there's no action behind it. Now, we can say stay woke to one another until we're blue in the face, but that doesn't stop the police from killing unarmed black men. That doesn't stop black people from being disproportionately incarcerated, and that definitely doesn't stop banks from not loaning to us simply based off the color of our skin. Now, what is it that we're going to do after we get woke and stay woke? Well, it's simple. We're going to work woke, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that. Now, as I just said, we can say stay woke all day long and keep hoping and praying and have faith that that's going to change things, but it's not. The Bible says that faith without work is dead. So long gone are those days of blaming the system and blaming the white man because it's not going to do anything for us. Those days are dead and gone. So the crazy thing is, yes, we know there's enough mounted against us and we know that there's enough plaguing the black community, but the crazier part is that enough of us know this and we also know the solutions. So the easiest way that you can work woke, I've told you guys before, give black, bank black, and buy black. Black people have around an estimated $1.2 trillion in spending power, buying power, and those numbers are estimated to be north of 1.5 or even maybe 1.9 trillion around the year 2020. So put your money in a black institution because then those banks will loan to us. They will then have the capital to loan to us. Buy from black-owned businesses. I've told you guys before, there's an app, Official Black Wall Street, that you can use. And I just found out that there's a feature in the app that when you're in your car and you're near a black-owned business, it'll alert you and then tell you the route to get to that black-owned business. So you can put your money in a black-owned enterprise. So I know I told you guys before that it's estimated that the black dollar only spends about 6 hours in the black community before it is spent elsewhere, as opposed to white, Jewish, and Asian dollars that spend in between 17 days and about 30 days in their communities before they spend it elsewhere. Well, according to blackenterprise.com, the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University in Chicago, Illinois, said that they cannot find any data supporting that information. And they believe that, I guess you could now say, myth was started when a book was written called Talking Dollars and Making Sense, a Wealth Building Guide for African Americans. Now, Howard University reached out to the author, but she could not provide the exact source of that data. But however, according to the Kellogg School of Management, it is still believed that due to an experiment that they conducted called the Empowerment Experiment, it's believed that less than 3% of black buying power is spent in black enterprises. But if black people redirected those dollars up to 10% into black businesses, that could create upwards of approximately 1 million jobs in communities of color. So that right there just goes to show exactly how much power we have as a black community. We just need to support one another more, put more trust in one another, and have each other's backs. It can go a really long way. Even though it may not seem like it, but it can go a really long way when you're putting your money in black institutions. Another way you can work woke is do what I'm doing. When I take in this information, it doesn't really mean much if I don't do anything else with it. I can make as many posts on Instagram and Facebook that I want, but how does that help anybody? It really doesn't. There's a ton of people that learn a lot of information when it comes to politics in the world and things of that nature, and then all they do is rant on Facebook, get into arguments with people on Instagram, but that doesn't do anything for either side. Rather, no matter what side or what stance you have on any of these issues, it doesn't do anything for anybody. It might further the narrative a little bit, but you got to put that into action. You got to put that into actual work. It doesn't mean anything and it doesn't hold any weight when you're just getting into arguments on social media with people. So, it doesn't exactly have to be a YouTube show. Maybe you could start a blog, start reading some different books, start watching documentaries, take in this information, but then give it back to other people and try to reach people so that they can realize too what is going on in the world and they can realize the ways that they can help. when I started this show, the goal was to inspire people and to educate people, because as I'm trying to make the point, it doesn't do anything by just sitting around and talking about it. A lot of people will say, oh, that's the way we fix things. You got to talk to the other side, and we need to, we need to flesh these things out. But it doesn't matter, because if I just tell you and tell you and tell you that there's issues going on, that doesn't change them, that doesn't take them away, and it does nothing for nobody. So, there's plenty of books that I'm in the process of reading right now. So like I said, you can start a blog or something like that, start a show, and then just review, the books that you're reading. These are a couple that I'm currently reading. The first one is 12 Steps Toward Political Revelation, an amazing book that I would recommend to everybody. The next one is Self-Liberation, a guide to strategic planning for action to end a dictatorship or other oppression. Now this one is for anybody that has hopes of starting a black business. It is called the $100 Startup. Re-innovate the way you make a living, do what you love, and create a new future. There's a gentleman that I recently found and began to follow named Dr. Boyce Watkins, and he advised that everybody read this book, particularly young black men in America. It is his belief that every young black man in America should start his own business, and it's something that I wholeheartedly agree with. The next one, I haven't begun to read this one yet, but it was something that was recommended to me as well, Dumbing Us Down. These are also books that I'm actually going to do a review on myself. I'll do an episode on each of these books once I'm complete, once I'm done reading all of them. This one, I just got The Rise and Fall of Black Wall Street. I feel it's very important for any black person to understand what Black Wall Street was and the history of it, and how things went the way it did as far as Black Wall Street no longer existing. That's something that I know I definitely didn't learn in high school. I thought Black Wall Street wasn't an actual thing. I didn't know it was an actual place. I thought it was like when we say Black Twitter, there's not an actual Black Twitter app. That's just something we say. That's just the black community kind of coming together against somebody on Twitter, or talking about something in particular that has something to do with the black community. That's what I thought Black Wall Street was, but I was sadly mistaken when I found out that it wasn't. So another great book that I feel every African American person should read. The current one that I'm on right now, The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter Godwin Woodson, another very essential book for anybody living in America that is of color. And lastly, I have not begun this one either, but Scarring the Black Body, Race and Representation in African American Literature. Now, like I said, I recommend all of these books to all of you. I will put the titles in the description of the video so you can look them up for yourself. But, just read one of these books, start doing a little blog, a little review on these books, maybe start making videos as well, put those on YouTube and just review these books and kind of regurgitate that information to people who need to hear it. Because, again, the sole purpose of this episode is to let you guys know that talking doesn't do anything about it. You might have that conversation with your coworker at work who you might think is racist, or a person that you have class with. They often say things that you might believe are a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? They're a little bit rooted in bigotry, but it doesn't do anything for people of color. So we got to do something else. We got to work woke. It's truly that simple, guys. Start donating to black charities and black organizations like Black Lives Matter, Campaign Zero. Put your money in a black-owned bank. Start buying from black enterprises. Start attending protests and marches. I know myself personally, I'm going to start attending some in my area. If there's something going on in your area, your city, disproportionately affecting black and brown people, find out who your state legislators are, your governor, start a petition. There's so many things you can do. Start a food drive, a clothing drive for middle school, elementary school kids. There's a lot of things you can do, but you just got to do something. No more talking, no more complaining. I don't want to hear anybody else complaining about the issues if they're not actually doing something, because it's not constructive and it's not indicative of results and it's not indicative of change. So whether it's something small or something big, do something. Just make sure you work woke. Thanks for watching.